The CEO, or excuse me, the AD, I think, what is his title? The Deputy Commissioner, Tim Weiser, Big 12 Deputy Commissioner of the Big 12 AD. I'm over here just making shit up. During Big 12 Media Week, which we always get great clips from these weeks. SEC Week is next week. Cannot wait for that. It's going to be an absolute blast. I just put Jimbo and Lane Kiffin behind a camera and a microphone and just let it ride. You know what I mean? You're going to get content. But the CEO threw a little bit of shade at Oklahoma and Texas. And why wouldn't he? He's pissed off. He's over here. Look, you got to be honest. Big 12 is kind of, trying to fix things and get things rocking and rolling. They're over here interviewing people from Colorado, BYU, Utah, trying to salvage what is left of the Big 12. UCF obviously went there, but they don't carry the weight just yet. Texas and OU was your catalyst. They're your USC, UCLA, your Bama's, SEC is just thick all the way through, but your FSU's, your Clemson's, right? Your Ohio State, your Michigan, that is your brand, are those two schools, and they said see you later. So here's what he had to say about that to that. Here's a quick little interview.
I continue to maintain that the choice Texas made wasn't a financial one, because we all know what Texas resources are like. I think theirs was more about affiliating with a group of schools that on a given Saturday they would rather get beat by Alabama than they would Kansas State or Florida than Iowa State. Or, that I think was really what was driving the way they looked out down the road. And in Oklahoma's case, I'm not as convinced that that was the issue for them. I think they were more of what I would call the reluctant bride that kind of felt like, wow, if we don't go, what happens to the Texas OU football game, basketball, all the things that we know from an OU and Texas standpoint are really important. So I kind of felt like if I was in Oklahoma's case, it would have been hard for me not to think about the long term. And don't we want to be affiliated with Texas and now these other schools?
I mean, what's up? That's a jab. That's a very professional jab. It looks like he blamed it all on Texas, and OU is just the follower, basically forced their hand to follow Texas. It's a jab at his conference too, though, right? Because he goes, they'd rather go to the SEC and lose to the likes of Georgia, and the jab is saying they're going to lose, or Florida versus losing to a Kansas State or Iowa State. So you just took a jab at your conference in that, which, look, that's a very powerful shit talk, because you basically shit on yourself in turn of shitting on the other person as well. And it's like, I can't say anything because there's a part of that's right. It's like, yeah, if I'm going to lose a football game, I want to have some credibility behind it. Look, to speak into that, as being a Florida Gator fan, what did we say last year? Our schedule's brutal. We play some dogs week in and week out. And so you got to have a little bit of a leeway when you lose a few games, I guess. I don't know. It's definitely somebody who's a little bit bitter. And look, to say that there isn't money, I think he's obviously a little bit off on that. Yes, the financial backing out of Texas and Oklahoma is fantastic. It's the branding, though. Texas has always had a great brand. Oklahoma over the last decade has had a phenomenal brand. You place an SEC tag on that, and you get Texas and Bama and Florida and Texas and OU and Florida and OU, those brands skyrocket more than they ever had before, especially with the likes of UCLA and USC going over to the Big Ten. Everyone's getting just a little bit bigger. So you have to get 1% better. So I think, and which with that comes money as well. I don't think it was a money decision completely. I think it was more of just a branding. I think it's going to help with recruiting, which is massive. People want to play for the SEC. The SEC brand alone is huge. And I know there's non-SEC people going, you're just an SEC homer. It's fact. And look, other brands still have their own thing that makes them tick. But SEC is just a big brand football. Last night on Josh Pate, I was watching, and he was answering some questions because they only follow certain teams or speak to certain teams. And he goes, why are you an SEC-based channel? And he goes, if you saw the data that we saw, you would be an SEC-based channel too. Referring that the fan base behind SECs are just incredible. Always have been, always will be. It runs thick. And that's what Texas and Oklahoma, in my opinion, are chasing more than the money. Money's definitely a factor, and they're not losing by that way either. I think him saying that they'd rather lose is just him being upset and bitter about the entire situation there.